Hi, Facebook Live. I am hopping on to talk today about fear, your fear gates, where they come from. This is also part of the center series that I've been doing. So this actually comes from your splenic center. We're going to talk about that. And yeah, so just going to set up and invite some people here. As you're hopping on, please just say hi. Let me know how you are, where you are, what you're up to, what you're doing. And we'll get this started here really soon. So I hope everyone's having a good weekend. We're working on packing, actually, to move, because we move like Tuesday, super soon. Very exciting. All right, so that's probably good. Okay. So as you're hopping on, just let me know you're here. Say hi. If you're catching the replay, just put #replay. For those of you who don't know me, hi. My name is Dr. Brittany Ritter. I am a power and alignment coach and a human design expert. Today, I want to talk to you about the splenic center. This is one of 3 awareness centers that you have. This one is more in charge of your survival. It's more in charge of your well-being, your immunity. So this is very closely related to your lymphatic system, B cells and T cells, which are all part of your immune system, and they're actually found throughout your body. So this center literally kind of functions with your entire body. We already talked about the awareness centers. The other 2 awareness centers, so you have 3 total. The other 2 are your ajna center, which is your mind, your processing, and your solar plexus, so your emotional center. The difference between these centers and your other centers being awareness centers is that these are all experience centers. These are centers where like a lot of their functions you can be consciously aware of because they're experiences, and they're experiences that you can learn from. So your splenic center is going to allow you to process what's healthy for you. It's going to allow you to process what's healthy for your survival. It's going to allow you to access your intuition and your instinct. It's also very closely tied to taste. A lot of times people will say that they might like situations might leave a bitter taste in their mouth. Have you ever heard anybody say that? That's like your intuition. That's coming from your splenic center. And then being your intuition, it operates very much in the now. So for those of you who have a defined splenic center, you are going to find that spontaneity, spontaneously responding to things is going to come a little bit more naturally to you. It's going to feel good. You can trust those nudges. You can trust those instincts. For those of you who have an undefined splenic center, the spontaneity is not so trustworthy for you because a lot of times the nudges that you're getting, the intuitive hits that you're getting are coming from the conditioning of the other people that are around you. So what that means is when you have this like intuitive hit to do something or not do something, or, you know, maybe try something new, or like all of a sudden you decide you want to like take a trip. If you have an undefined splenic center, sometimes those nudges are actually coming from the people that you're surrounding yourself with. And a lot of times people with undefined splenic centers will find it very comforting to surround themselves with people with defined splenic centers, whether you know it or not, because it gives them that kind of almost sense of security and safety. It's like a safety blanket for them because they're not feeling those fears so much. So one of the things that I want to talk about with this center is the fear gates. You have 7 fear gates in your splenic center, and this is huge for people who are working through their business. Huge. Like this is one thing that I'm going to start focusing on immensely. And this also goes along with my announcement, but I want to kind of take it back and just briefly describe the 7 fear centers to you. So you have the 7 fear gates, and I'm going to go through each one rather quickly, just giving you a brief description. But you have the fear of inadequacy, which is a fear that you don't have enough depth, or you don't have enough you're not good enough to resolve a problem. Fear of the future, which is like fear of what could happen in the future, fear of what's going on. Hey, Amanda. My child is at the door. Another one is fear of the past. So fear, this is more about holding on to fear almost of experiences that have happened for you, almost like this knowing that like because it has happened in the past, it's going to happen in the future, that sort of situation. So that's something that we need to release and let go of. Fear of responsibility. So this is kind of a fear of taking on the responsibility of being responsible for other people. So this comes up a lot with parenting, right? Also with coaching, because you have this fear of responsibility. I find that, with this gate, a lot of people have this fear of being responsible for their client results. It comes out of here. This is something that we need to work through, right? Because as we know, we're not responsible for our clients' results. We can only help coach them and mirror back to them and provide space for them to help work through their problems, their situations, their challenges. Fear of failure is huge for literally, I feel like every human being on the planet, no matter who you are. Doesn't necessarily mean everyone has it defined. It just means that whether they have it defined or it comes up inconsistently because it's coming from the conditioning of others. Like this is a fear that comes up. Also, the fear of death or purpose. This is more about the fear of like not realizing your purpose before you pass. It's also a fear that, life has no purpose. You're just here. So you feel lost. And then lastly, the fear of authority, which is, more about fear of being judged by others, or even judging yourself. So that's a quick review of the fear gates, but super, super relevant to life, business, parenting, relationships, everything. And so this is something that I think using human design, using your strategy and authority, using some NLP techniques to work through this stuff, this could be huge for anyone to work through any blocks that they may be having in their life. So we kind of touched on pretty much everything that I wanted to talk about. I'm just going to give you some like examples of healthy versus unhealthy. So if you have a defined spleen center, what is a healthy defined spleen center for you? You are tuned in to your intuitive nudges. You're tuned in to those awarenesses. You trust those really intuitive, spontaneous gut instincts to lead you through your life. You provide a sense of well-being, not only for yourself, but those around you, because you are attuned to your nudges and being healthy. And you have a fixed way of processing fears that may come up for you. And it gives you some sort of sense of security. So even though you are having these fears, even though they're coming up for you, you're able to work through them. Now, unhealthy, you would ignore your instincts. And this happens a lot with people. Every day you have people who will come up to you and say, oh, I knew this was a bad idea. And they went and did it anyway. And it's like, well, if you knew it was a bad idea, why'd you do it? Because we're so used to allowing our mind to override our intuition that it has become second nature. So even though we have people with defined spleens, they're still influenced by their conditioning, and they still need to work on getting back in touch with those instincts. And then let's talk about your undefined splenic centers. So healthy undefined splenic centers feel comfortable taking their time making decisions and working through things. They don't feel the need to spontaneously respond because they start to realize that pressure to respond spontaneously is actually coming from the conditioning of those people that they might be around. They use their strategy and authority to make their decisions that it's right for them. They learn to feel comfortable in how they need to take care of themselves. A lot of times, their well-being is dictated by other people as well. So this allows them to start to understand themselves and give themselves the time and space to heal from illness, heal from accidents, heal from whatever, however they need to. And these people also learn how to confront their fears when appropriate. Undefined spleens, it's really important for them to kind of learn to work through these fears because they're gonna come up all the time, and they're gonna come up inconsistently depending on whether or not they have a gate activated or not. Unhealthy displays of the splenic center would be holding on to things that aren't good for you, even though you know sometimes that they're not good for you. You may not know that they're not good for you, but a lot of times, you know, this turns into like a dependent relationship where you are constantly going back to somebody. This might be like a partner or a parent or even a friend. You constantly surround yourself with these people because it creates this sense of security for you, this sense of well-being for you, even though they're not good for you. So those are kind of ways that this shows up, healthy and unhealthy. And so that's a quick overview of the splenic center. It's one of the most fascinating centers, I think, because it is involved with intuition, your health and well-being, how you need to show up. And then the fear gates are like so huge. And that can lead, when they're not addressed, can lead to anxiety, which, as we know, can lead to dis-ease, which leads to disease. And, you know, with the disease and the immune system, it affects your entire body. So the announcement that I wanted to bring to you guys is what I have decided to do, focusing on these centers, because this is going to really be where your power comes from, is I want to clear the fear breakthrough sessions, like one call. We're going to cover like one of the gates. We can look at your chart. We can pick where we want to start, and we can work through that fear. Work through how it shows up in your life, work through how we can work through it, work through how we can release it, work through how, and give you tools so that you can use them if and when these things come up for you again. Because the more you grow, the more you do the work, the more these things kind of start to peel back and unlayer, and you're going to kind of constantly be going through this process. So I want to do these one-on-one calls. They'll be like 30, 45 minutes. And then this kind of leads nicely into like, if you were interested in one-on-one coaching, potentially, I'm changing my package up. We're doing 2-month packages, and it's going to be working through a lot of these fear gates. And so it's a 2-month container. And if you were interested in doing a breakthrough call, that's cool. If you do that and then you decide you're interested in one-on-one coaching, what I would do is I would take the price of the discovery call off of the price of the 2-month coaching package. So that's kind of what that is. I'm really, really excited about this, guys, because like I think this is going to be game changing for so many people in so many areas. And like I said, these fears come up in your business, if you're a business person, in your life, in parenting, constantly. The fear of responsibility as a parent, huge. Mm-hmm. The fear of, this is a weird one, the fear of the future or fear of success. As odd as that is, that's like a big fear of mine. And I actually have that fear gate. So it makes perfect sense. And then working through it, it's actually allowing me to become more wise about it, understand more of it, and then like allow me to see how I can adjust to make changes in order to work through that fear so that it's not holding me back anymore. So if you're interested in a discovery call or the one-on-one coaching package, please comment, send me a DM, let me know. We can talk about it. We can set up a time to do it. We can look at your chart. Like I said, we can pick and choose which one we want to focus on, and then we can really deep dive and focus. One call, breakthrough, work through that, release it, reprogram it, and get you on your way to living an amazing dream life, because that's what everyone wants, right? So with that, thank you so much for hopping on. If you are interested, again, just shoot me a DM. I love you guys so much. I'm going to go pack up my house now because this week is going to be crazy. So thank you. I love you. And I will talk to you guys later. Thank you for coming on at the new time, since it's been a little bit crazy with times with the toddler and the not sleeping. So thanks so much.